Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When so much was said by the teacher, Shiva, Bhairava, that it is an experience of your own. You cannot compare it with anybody. Nor can you go and ask somebody, excuse me, if I realize, no. In US, once after my talk was over, in some temple, maybe about 30-40 people, and there was one South Indian gentleman. South Indians, when they go outside India, they become more spiritual. It is a joke, no doubt. So, he came for the satsang with that typical standard makeup or the dress. Lungi, and on that lungi another cloth, so that when they sit down, the lungi doesn't get spoiled. And then all the marks on the head and everywhere. And a dish antenna. And he said, like you, Swamiji, I also know Brahman. But my problem is, as you have become popular, you are on the TV and all that, can you give me some tips? Now tell me, how can you be miserable? So, Devi said, yes, what you have told is true, but Deva Deva Trishulanka Kapala Kruta Bhushana Digdesha Kala Shunyacha Vipadesha Vivarjita Yavasta Bharitakara Bhairavasyopa Labhyate Kaihi Upayahi Mukham Tasya Para Devi Katham Bhavet Yata Samyagaham Vedmi Tatha Me Bruhi Bhairava. Now see the subtle point of this. O God of all gods, Deva Deva, Trishulanka, the one who is holding the trident in his hand, Kapala Kruta Bhushanaha, he who is having the human skull as the Bhushana, the ornament on him, and Digdesha Kala Shunya, Vipadesha Vivarjita, the experience which is beyond the limitations of the time, space, or object, which cannot be indicated or compared. This Bharitakara Avastha, this experience of oneness with the totality, Bhairavasya Upalabhyate, Kaihi Upayahi, how can one attain that experience? And how Tasya Paradevi Katham Bhavet Mukham? And this experience, or Paradevi, how this can become the entry point into this absolute reality. Yatha samyak aham vedmi tatha bruhi me bhairava. Now see what is important is, this Devi, Paradevi, she only is asking the question. So she is already there, why she is asking question? See, one is experience. Second is helping others to gain the same experience. It is here the role of the teacher comes. In Kathopanishad it is said, Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha, ascharyo jnata kushalanusishta. It is the wonder of wonders that the teacher can teach, which is beyond the scope of teaching. And much more is the wonder that the truth cannot be known, and yet it is known by the disciple. Thereafter, Upanishad says that na narena avarena prokta esha dharmaha suvidneyaha. when the same truth is spoken of by only an erudite scholar, etc., he is unable to communicate that knowledge. Because Shabda Jalam Maharanyam Chitta Brahmana Karanam, he is caught up and lost only in words, words, words. Words without experience behind carry no impact on the minds of the listener. And therefore, O Lord, kindly tell me, I know this, but how this can be experienced by everyone? See. Now, what is my experience? If I want to communicate to you, I will have to talk. So, experience is up to the Madhyama Vani, up to the mind level. From the mind or the Madhyama Vani, the experience must be put in words. And when the experience is put in words, it is called a Vaikari Vani. See? So, kindly tell me how this experience can be experienced by others in such a way that we have to think or talk about it. Kindly tell. In reply to this, so what is the question? How this subtle, immediate, personal experience can be made available to others? Otherwise, I know. What is the use of that knowing only you know? If others are benefited, they say, I have got money. What is the use? But I have got. See, the one who has got lot of money, he is not called as a rich person. He is called as a kanjus. A person who has got money and he who is sharing with others, then is called as a rich person. In the same manner, this knowledge has to be shared, and therefore, from here onward, the real dharanas begin. Now we are entering the proper meditations. See, this much introduction was important. Now here also dharana in Yoga Shastra, when the mind is fixed in a particular place, desha bandha dharana, desha place. So you bring your mind and fix in one place. See, the mind is controlled in Yoga Shastra, in Patanjali Yoga Darshan by three techniques, because the mind is disturbed because of time, space and object. So first the mind is nailed in one place. So that is dharana. So bring your mind to the center of your being, the spiritual heart. Then in that place, then fix your mind on one object, not too many things. So now the mind is nailed with two ropes. So in one place on one object. That is dharana and then dhyana. Dhyana is object predominant. Dharana is space predominant. Dharana, dhyana. Then the mind is held in the same place on the same object for a long period of time. That is samadhi. Thus, mind is tied down in one place, one object for a long period of time. When this is attained completely 100%, that is called as Sayyama. So, Yoga Shastra starts from where Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Normally people go up to here. But next step is Sayyama. So, from Yama to Sayyama. This is the journey within the mind for the Yoga Shastra. So, there Dharana is holding the mind in one place. Now, here Dharana is the process of, it's not holding in one place. It's the process of reaching what you are from where you are. That is Dharana. Therefore, this is the yogic prakriya. So, the first Dharana we begin. Urdhve prano yado jivaha visargatma parochare उत्पत्ति द्वितीय स्थाने भरणाद भरिता स्थिति ऊर्ध्वे प्राणो अध जीवः. See, when a child is born, and if the child doesn't cry, then the people start crying. So what they do, they take the child, urdhva moolam adashakam, and then flash cold water on that child. And then the consciousness or the life principle is activated. And as a result of this, the lungs which are in the thorax in a solid state and separated from the abdomen by diaphragm, that diaphragm becomes flattened. When it becomes flattened, space is created in the thoracic cavity. And because of that, the air is sucked in. Therefore, the process of breathing, not breeding, the process of breathing is a passive process. That is called as apana vayu. This apana is also called as jiva or the soul. So when the external air enters for the first time, then the life becomes activated. See? You have put the key for the software download. It is not free. It becomes activated. Therefore, apana is entry of the external vayu air into the system. And then when somebody dies, what we say, iske pran nikal gaye. So prana is bringing the air or this apana from the center and goes out. Now in this Shastra, there is a great importance to one particular term, and that is called as Dvadashangula. That means 12. So, if you take, these are the 4 fingers width. So, from the Mooladhar up to the Manipur, the distance is the Dvadashangula. From Manipur up to the, what you call, Anahata, the distance is Dvadashangula. Then from this Anahata up to the Vishuddha Chakra, the distance is again Dvadashangula. From the throat or the Vishuddha Chakra up to the Bhrumadhya Agya Chakra, again the distance is 12. Then from the Bhrumadhya up to the Sahasrara, distance is 12 fingers. And the distance between our nostril opening, another 12 fingers. After that, it is air. When the general air enters, at the point of entry is Dvadashangula, then it is called as Apana Vayu. Air is common. The dead body is also in the Apana Vayu, and living body is also in the Apana Vayu. But the dead body doesn't become enlivened because it is in the air. So when the air comes up to this 12 finger distance, Dvadashangula, and enters, and where does it stop? It stops in the heart, the center. This is the inner Dvadashangula and external Dvadashangula. So now understand this thing. So what we breathe in, it is called as Apana Vayu or the Jiva or the soul. And what we breathe out is called as Prana. Make these points very clear. So, Urdhve Prano Yado Jiva Visargatma Para Uchcharet. And now this is going on incessantly. And it is not done. It is happening. And therefore, we are not tired of breathing. But when you do pranayam, you are tired. Because there I, the doer, is born. In case of breathing, there is nobody who is doing breathing. Now these are the points which we have to understand and remember. Now the teacher says here, Urdhve prano yado jiva visargatma parochyana. Now in Sanskrit, those of you who know, like the nominative singular is written with visarga. Rama is akaranta pullingi word. So how do we write Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha? That visarga, 2 points, upper and lower. So this visargatma, between these 2 points, is the life principle. And it is here is this Paradevi. So what does it mean? See? It means keep your awareness or attention between only these 2 points. Don't go out or don't come in. Remain within that limit. Now see what happens. The mind, when it stops going beyond that point, it is remaining within your own being. It is not shattered or thrown away from your own being. Because what is a disturbed mind? Disturbed mind is, it goes away from itself and gets lost. So, Utpatti Dvitaya Sthane. Utpatti. So, the first place where Apana is born is the Dvadashangula outside. And where the Prana is born is the spiritual heart inside. So, in these 2 points, Utpatti Dvitaya Sthane, Bharanar Bharita Sthitihi. So, the life principle is continuously coming and going within this area. When we just start sitting quiet and limit the movement of the mind within these 2 points. So this area in our day-to-day 24 experiences is the place where we can discover this Paradevi. There is no tension anywhere. And when this is done, the net result is the oscillations of the mind on account of time, space and objects, they are reduced to a minimum. See? Therefore, urdhve prano yado jivaha visargatma parochyare. Visargatma is, visarga is creation. It is a continuous process. And therefore, Bharanad, so one has to remain aware within this area, then you are touching the divine expression called as the Shakti, Parashakti, you are holding it perfectly. In yoga, they talk about concentration. We are not talking about concentration. Concentration is always on others. That is why one of the technique in yoga is the Trataka. So they will be keeping a candle in front and then start looking at it with great concentration. The eyes of such people are very frightening, as if they are going to bounce on you. Contrary to that, like you are listening to me with concentration, but your understanding is not with concentration. You have to be aware, yes, the air is moving between these 2 points. And see the beautiful part. This you are not doing. So, a doer is not born. It is happening. And in that action of breathing, the actor who is breathing is not born. And therefore, the Visargatma, the Jiva, merges back in consciousness. Jiva is nothing but the mind. See. Then the questions like, how long we have to sit for meditation? Redundant. No meaning to that question. So we have to simply train ourselves that when we are moving around, we live more and more in awareness. And when we start living in awareness, we are able to get the divine messages even from a passing breeze. This is how Bhagavan Dattatreya tells. He was asked, how many gurus you have got? He said, 2 darjan. 24. 24 guru? Don't they fight with each other? You are taking my disciple. You are taking my disciple. So when the process of learning is initiated, then you are, be attentive, then you are living in meditation. But if we are not learning, then we will be pramadi. We will be repeating the same mistake again and again. And as the result, we will complain, oh God, why do you punish me? So God said, I don't punish you, you are self-sufficient. See, this is the first dharana. Therefore, the spiritual heart is this sternum where all the floating ribs come and unite. This spiritual heart. And therefore you will see, everyday observation, you don't have to be very highly educated, only observe. Whenever I had to tell, I am telling you, so where will I take my finger? I am telling you. See? Or I am telling you. We say, I am telling you. See? Because we all know that. And his eye is not indicated by any other finger except Tarjani. See? We don't say, I am going to tell you. Okay, okay. So, this eye has to be located here, because when the apana vayu enters and rests here. See? And from here only, again it comes out as a prana. So, the real process of breathing begins. First, breathe in and then breathe out. breathe in, breathe out. And when we just train our mind to remain only within this limit of breathing, two things happen. Number one, the movement of the mind beyond a limit is arrested, and the mind has to remain in the utter present because breathing happens only in present. We can't say, I am busy, I'll do it tomorrow. No. So this is how, time-wise and space-wise, we control the mind. Now the third thing, object-wise. So what is going and coming is this Jiva Bhava or the Visargatma. So time, space and object, all these three parameters are included in dissolving the mind to its source. Like the ice cube is dissolved only in the water, not on the stone. It will never become stone. It will become only water. Similarly, the mind will be dissolved in the pure consciousness. Now here, nothing is said. It is realization. It is vision of God. It is so many descriptions. No. When the mind dissolves, you also dissolve. What remains is the truth. And therefore, there cannot be any ego of realization. And therefore, there cannot be any success or failure in meditation. Now, we take the second dharana. Marutor antar bahirvapi viyad yugma nivartanad bhairavya bhairavasyetam bhairavi vyajyate vapuhu. Now here the second method of this dharana is told. See? When the breath goes in and before it comes out, for a split second, there is a pause. To understand this pause, take these tube lights. In the alternative current, AC, how the tube lights function? The spark goes from one end to other and from this end to this. And it goes so fast that it appears as if it is a solid rod of light. But it is not. It is not a DC, it is AC. Alternate current. See? So, when it has gone from the cathode to the anode and before it returns back, there is a split second. Exactly this is what happens in us. So breathe in before we breathe out. That point where there is a split second pause, now be aware of that. So, so you are breathe in, Visargatma, Apana. Don't do Kumbhak, etc. That we'll do later. It will naturally be happening. You can distinctly experience the movement of the prana. And in that, when we remain more and more aware at these 2 points, either remain aware of the inner point or remain aware of the external point, Bahir Dvadasha. anyone. It is here Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Sampreksha Nasikagram Swam. Nasikagra, the tip of the nose. Swam, your own, not somebody else's. Otherwise, hey, you please come. No, I have to sit for meditation. Why? Bhagavan told, look at the tip of the nose. Your own. Oh. So, the tip of the nose means 12 fingers up to here. This 12 finger distance is approximately this width. So, our whole body is measured with that. And beyond that, this is the capsule in which life is. And therefore, when the external air enters this capsule, air is converted into prana shakti. Air is common. When it comes in contact with this Dvadashangula area, then air becomes prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Like when you are within the coverage of your Wi-Fi, you are connected. When you are not connected. See? Recognize this principle. Therefore, this is the second dharana. Now third one. न व्रजे न विशेषक्ति मरुद्रूपा विकासिते निर्विकल्पतया मध्ये तया भैरव रूपदा. निर्विकल्पतया. One thought is, I'll use a special English. One thought is thoughted. And the second thoughting is not happening. See? One thought is over. Om Namah Shivaya. And the second thought has not yet begun. So, the gap between the two thoughts. What is there? It is said, Nirvikalpataya Madhye. In one of the texts, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Laya vikshepayoho sandhahu manastatra niramisham sa sandhi sadhito yena sa muktanatra samshaya. When laya, the thought is over. Vikshepa, the thought has come up. Sandhi, the junction. Therefore, your joint problems are called in Ayurveda as the Sandhivat, Sandhivayu. That is the one. So, Laya and Vikshepa. Thought has come and died, but the second thought has not yet started. That gap between the two thoughts, there, Tatra Manaha Niramisham. Their mind does not have any contents. And what are the contents? Contents are objective or objectivity. So, Nirvikalpataya Madhye, when we are thus able to recognize this, what is that? Na vraje na visheshakti. The morning I told you, if you remember, when our body, breathing and mind is extremely quietened and we are out of the body identification to a great extent, then the breathing becomes extremely slow and extremely shallow. The reason being, in between the two thoughts, there being no content, Because what is the thought? Thought is mind plus the contents is equal to thought. Now to understand this, take one example. You know the latex tubings which are used, rubber latex. You just see that tube is straight away comfortably lying. Now in that tube, you put one small glass ball which is bigger than the size of the tube. Push it inside. And then observe what happens. Where the ball is, there is a tension on the wall of that latex tubing. Tension. And it will look as if it is quiet. It is not quiet. It is under tension. What is the reason? Some foreign material has gone inside. Rest of the part of the tube is comfortable. Exactly the same way, when any object enters our mind, object could be anything, like this name, Om Namah Shivaya. Entry and exit from the mind, be very attentive, is in the form of, entry is in the form of shape, object, and exit from the mind is in the form of sounds or words. Nama and Rupa. World is Roop form. And the name for every object is in our mind. So outside is the object, Rupa, form. Inside is the name, Nama. And in this manner, name and the form, when they unite, a thought is created. See, like many people, they do not know our Hindu mantra, etc. So when they say, see, nothing is happening, Ram, 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 Ram. Who is this damn Ram? Because for that sound Ram, they don't have a corresponding object. See? Therefore, here the teacher says, in between, na vrajen na visheshakti marudrupa vikasite, then what happens? The gap between the breathing in and the breathing out, when it is slowly increased, then to that extent, the thought process is arrested. And then vikasite. Therefore, one of the technique of chanting the Lord's name is this. What we know is our own genius. We want to finish chanting. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Vishnu, Hare Vishnu, Vishnu, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. I am not telling you imagination, I have gone through that. When we were given this Gayatri Mantra Japa, we are told, chant only 11 times loudly. But if you listen to the Guru, then you are not a disciple. So I said, do you think that I cannot chant 108 times? And why loudly? I don't want to show off to the people. I do it in my own mind. And they started. खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा, खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा. No, I was told chant loudly. Okay, maybe it will help. Om Bhurvo Swaha Tasaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Only once it is done, but you want to see it 10 times. Om Bhurvo Swaha. And finally, we start the SMS language. Om Bhur. One person spoke to me and said, Swamiji, how to do japa? It's very difficult. So he came with his friend. He said, Swami, he always complains. I also do japa, but I have no complaints. So you are very good. While both of us were given the same mantra by our Guru, but he is complaining, I am not complaining. You are a good disciple. Then that person, how do you chant, how do you do the 26th time you have to do that japa? Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. One mala multiplied by 25 times. How do you do that? Say, what is a great deal? I thought he must be a digital person, a robo. I said, show bhaiya, how do you so fastly? He took his mala and showed in this way. He said, I do like this thing. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Ram. I said, Saktang Danda. Idiots are more genius than the genius. We are interested in finishing that mantra. That is not the way. You have to increase the gap between the two names. Our chanting the mantra is like taking Ayurvedic medicine. You finish it. Nobody tastes Ayurvedic medicine, isn't it? Kutajarishta. Oh. You just don't put it on the tongue, directly in the pharynx. And above that, you will take something sweet and comfort. Oh God. Our chanting is like that. How should we chant? Chant like eating a chocolate. How you eat chocolate? Put the chocolate in the mouth, take a glass of water, gulp it? No. We put the chocolate in the mouth, put it in the parking lot, and keep on enjoying it for half an hour. Isn't it? Same way, no hurry. We don't have to give account to anybody. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Like when you are sucking the chocolate, you are not in a hurry. Then every cell of your body will be permeated with the Lord's name. No hurry. Then again a gap. Because during that gap, what is happening? Be attentive. During that gap, you are neither chanting nor doing anything, but you are only tasting your own being. This is how this Nirvikalpataya Madhe Taya Bhairava Rupata. There you are able to cognize what you are seeking. So we have seen what is Bhairava and Vijnana. Bhairava is that where from everything comes out, that in which everything is sustained, and that to which everything goes back. That is Bhairava. Silence is the one where from the sounds come and they are sustained in the silence, they go back to the silence. So first we learn to catch the silence. After we have become expert in that, then we take a further step. So whether silence or sound, we come to recognize. Sound also I support, silence also I support. So, Mai eva sakalam jatam. Every sound comes from me, ends in me, but I don't end. So what is the sound and the silence? They are mutually exclusive. If sound is there, silence cannot be. If silence is there, sound cannot be. But we continue to be. If our awareness is to this, then sound and silence both will become equal. Sounds will not disturb us, and silence will not make us. Oh, it is such a great silence. Once I was staying in Lonavala doing some work. One friend from Bombay came and he said, Swamiji, I said, please keep quiet. I am doing something because then I forget what I am doing. My problem is there. Let me finish this and then I talk to you. Okay. And I was busy. And it took little longer, 10 minutes. He was sitting there. After I said, yes, now talk. What is the problem? Swamiji, it's a frightening silence. That day I learned this term. There is a fear in the silence also. And therefore, we keep the birds. We are afraid of ourselves. See? Therefore, here the teacher says, Nirupikalpataya madhe taya Bhairava rupata. One more technique I'll tell you, which is not here, but just try. Learn to waste time. Simply sit. What we have been doing our whole life? No, you have been worrying. You are not simply sitting. Don't you suppose you have said nothing to do, then you say, Chalo, jhadu laga lete. Let's clean something. Or, okay, let me clean my table. Or let us go for a walk. In short, we are constantly running away from ourselves. Whenever you are occupied, you are not with yourself. There is one lady, she sometimes comes to my place in Mumbai. Very nice person. And when she comes, she will clean my house. In 5 minutes, everything she makes so spick and span perfect, everything arranged properly. So I asked her one day, I said, Amma, is there any magic wand in your hand? You clean everything so quickly and so perfectly. She said, Swamiji, I also want to ask you, is there any magic wand in your hand? You make everything mess in no time. How can you do that? I said, that is my expertise. Both of us are expert. Then she said, as I come to your place and I do it to many people who are alone, who do not know, who are elderly people, etc. Is it good that I am doing? I said, it's very good because you are doing for me. No, you tell me the truth. I said, you will not like it. I said, yes, tell. Okay, listen. I said, you are running away from yourself. Keep yourself without doing anything. Start with 5 minutes. Then one day it will click that our presence in this world is absolutely unwanted. But we have that funny notion. When I die, what will happen? People will be happy. We have to remove that from our head. Then we are maintaining this whole world. There was a bullock cart carrying a huge load of grass. 2 bullocks were pulling. The cartman was sitting there. And below that cart, one dog was also walking. After some time, the cart stopped and the bullocks were separated. And the bullock cart man was also sitting and taking something to eat. The dog came from below the cart. So the man asked me, hey, what happened? What happened? I have been carrying this bullock cart for so long. trying to help the world. One man sitting on a camel and so much of things put on the camel along with him. I feel very bad for the camel, such a heavy weight, let me help him. So he took one bag of rice, put on his own head and sat there. Mind your business. Don't worry about the whole world. How much we get unnecessarily involved in this world. And then we think, no, I am doing social service. Social service is nothing but imposition of your views on others. Nothing else. Now, the next dharana, the fourth dharana. Kumbhita rechita vapi purita yada bhaven tadante shantanamaso shaktya shanta prakashate. Kumbhita rechita and purita yada bhaven. See, in the pranayam there are 2-3 terms. Kumbhita means holding the breathing. Rechita means emptying, that is breathing out. And purita means breathing in. 3 things. So, yada bhavet. Now what has to be done? When the breathing is in, then inside, inner this Dvadashanangula, there hold the breath. The moment you hold the breathing, mind stops. Again the question, but Swamiji, how long should we hold the kumbhak breathing inside? Oh, inside you do it for half an hour. But then I will die. My problem is solved. See, friends. Questions. Shuru karo pehle. Start. And then, when we breathe out, hold there. So, whenever breathing is suspended, that time thought formation also comes to a halt. Doesn't it happen? When suddenly something happens, we get a shock. Therefore, this is one more technique given. Rejita kumbhita vapi yada bhavet tadante shantanamasav. And when you do it for a few times, then slowly, your mind starts remaining quieter and quieter. Now be very attentive. There are 3 types of kumbhak. Kumbhak is holding the breath. One is Bahir kumbhak, second is Antar kumbhak, and third is Kevala kumbhak. In case of the Bahir kumbhak and Antar kumbhak, you have to put efforts and you are doing it. So breathe in, holding. Breathe out, holding. But Kevala kumbhaka is, by this practice, slowly, without your efforts, your breathing becomes so slow and shallow as if the breathing has stopped. It does happen. And that time, mind dissolves in consciousness. Whether you take the hibernation of the amphibians or you take the Mahatmas entering in the Samadhi, in all these places, this is exactly what is happening. So when the breathing is suspended, the mind is quietened. Where the mind will go? Mind will go back to the life. And therefore, in samadhi, it is not a death. Many people have got this funny notion. Is it not taking samadhi is a suicide? Yes, it is suicide. Then why they are taking? You ask them. I am not taking. In case of suicide, atmatya, it is the limit of frustration. A person who enters samadhi is not frustrated. Yaar bore ho gaye, chalo samadhi chalte. It's not that. It is a freedom from the limitations of the mind. So, tadante shanta namasau shaktya shanta prakashate. And when we thus come to this point, then you are able to recognize what is the meaning of thought-free mind. We are only hearing thought-free mind. It's a very subtle point. Thought-free mind and thoughtless mind. There's a difference. So, when objects are perceived, they are perceived through the thoughts. Like waking and dream. Everything is known as is. Bhavaatmak anubhuti. And in deep sleep, no thoughts. No. There are thoughts. What is the thought? The thought of the deep sleep is abhava pratyaya lambana vrittihi nidra. There, absence of the waking and the dream, that absence is the thought. Be attentive. Don't we experience everything in the form of present and absent? So as much something is present is a thought, that much something is absent is also a thought. We are not talking about thoughtless mind. We are talking thought-free mind. So what is a thought-free mind? Presence and absence of the thoughts makes no difference to us. Then we will not be obsessed by anything in life. See? Normally, we get obsessed. Some people are obsessed with the time. Some people are obsessed with the cleanliness. Some people are obsessed with the silence. And their whole life goes only in this. Therefore, never struggle to be a perfectionist in life. Those who are perfectionists, they suffer. Because they are perfectionists, they suffer perfectly. You be perfectionist, but don't expect the world to be perfect. See, friends, in this manner, slowly we are getting out of these relative experiences, although we are very much living in the relative world. Just observe. Whenever there is fighting, shouting, argument, obsessions are there. This story I have told number of times. It's a very simple thing to understand. In one young family I went, recently married for 2-3 years, and saw their house. It's so, no painting, no nothing. I said, anyway, what I have to do? So that girl said, Swamiji, I have seen what you have seen. I said, anyway, give me some tea, coffee. You know why we are not painted? I said, I don't know and I don't want to know. This is your house, you can make any mess. No, when we got married, we decided we will not do anything unless both of us agree. So what is this funny thing? On the contrary, you should never agree with each other. Then, look here, Swami. He likes light cream color. But I like light pink. So which color to give? And therefore we are not given. I said, look here, we are in this world, sarva bhuta hiti rataha. Helping everybody is our profession. So I'll help you. Yes. Simply answer my question, don't argue. Okay. Let us paint it black from inside. Dark black. Coal tar black. Both of them started looking at each other. Then I asked him, hey husband, tell, do you like it? No way. Wife, you tell, do you like it? No way. I said, you agree? And lagao. What logic it is. We have to simply understand all of us are obsessed only because we don't have this little wisdom. Our likes and dislikes have no value, no logic, no reason. But it is only that which is making us miserable. See? Simple things. That is the reason I never buy anything for the girls. Earlier I used to take to the children. Now I don't take anything. Anything you give them, Swamiji, receipt is there, so they go and change it. So they are not interested in your love associated with that. Interested only in that color I don't like. I like only pink. Arey Dumbo. What is the logic behind that color I are liking? But whole life goes only in that. See? Therefore, when here it is said that Tadante Shantanama Sau. Shantanama means he really is undisturbed under all conditions. Like, few examples, like the water is undisturbed, whether it is ice, iceberg, or steam, or it is a cloud, or it is ocean, or it's a wave. Water is not disturbed. Same. They're not external, again within. This example I will give you 100 times, one day it will click. Eyes are not disturbed by any color. If they are disturbed, they will never see that color again. But they can see any color. Mind also not disturbed by any thought. Every type of thought comes and goes. Good, bad, noble, ignoble, divine, devilish, all of them come and go. Now tell me, where poor thoughts will come? Will they come in the nose, you go brrr and out? No. Therefore, only recognition. We are undisturbed by anything. That is our essential nature. We get identified, attached. This attachment and identification is an illusion. We are not attached to anything or anybody. See, friends, attachment is not possible. Is the blue color attached to the sky? No. Nothing can attach to anything in this world. There is only one reality. For attachment, other is required. The superimpose is not attached to the substratum. In this manner, Tadante Shantanamasau Shaktya Shanta Prakashate. Then these two things happen. I, the Bhairava, and Vijnana, the experience. So although living in this world of multiplicity, do not get influenced by any one of them. See, friends, in the 6th chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gives the meaning of God realization. This verse you remember again and again. Only two things, not the third one, only two. First, the world comes to us in the form of complementary opposites, such as joy, sorrows, loss, gain, success or failure. This is how the world comes to us. Jitatmanaha. Under all these conditions, equanimity of our mind is not compromised. If this is practice, we are realized 50% God. Kamar tak aa gaye. Now the remaining 50%. Manapamanayoho prashantasya. Honor and dishonor doesn't disturb our equipoise. When somebody respects us, we start bloating. When somebody doesn't respect us, we start feeling bad. Let us not get influenced by these two things. And how it can happen? Only through wisdom, no other way. First, wisdom. World is made up of these complementary opposites. There is nothing in this world which is singular. Everything is in opposites, complementing each other. Joy, sorrows, loss, gain, health, disease, complement each other. If this is how the world is, where is the choice for you? Accept it. And wherever we have accepted, we don't suffer. Like we have accepted day and night. They are coming alternatively. We don't suffer. Then we adjust ourselves. We keep awake for the whole night with the lamps, and daytime we sleep. Adjust. Similarly, honor and dishonor. Sometimes you take the child is in a good mood, he'll come and talk to you. Next time you go and he will spit on you. We don't feel honored or dishonored by that. Those who have that feeling that I am not honored or I am dishonored, they are worse than the babies. See? Nobody can honor you or dishonor you. You know how deep you are. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.